April of 2009, and I'm sitting slumped in my cubicle, listening empathetically to the woman on the other end of the headset sob to me and beg me to review her loan again. She was explaining to me that her business was generating revenue and growing, but the time between when money went out and money came back in put a really huge restraint on their cash flow, and that our bank's financing was the only way that they were able to bridge that gap. I was on the verge of tears myself. As the daughter and granddaughter of self-made entrepreneurs, I understood all too well this exact situation. But as the employee of a large bank, I also knew there was nothing that I could do to help her. This was a conversation I had had dozens of times already that week, and will have had hundreds of times through my tenure at this large financial institution. And let me tell you, it never got easier. Now, as time went on, I changed roles, moved departments, I took promotions, but basically I went from saying no over the phone to saying no in person. And eventually, I took a non-customer facing support role so that I could figure out what exactly I wanted to do. Now, I had spent this time at the bank learning this traditional financing game, learning the inner workings of a big bank and their credit and lending criteria. I realized the frustration of this saying no time and time again, and I knew there had to be a better way. Now, beginning of 2015 rolled around, and my frustration hit an all-time high. I was sick of saying no to these business owners that I so desperately wanted to see thrive. I had a moment of epiphany. Now, most people would say this is perhaps my aha moment. The moment that I realized that a bank that truly didn't care about its clients was not the type of organization that I wanted to settle my career. This certainly lit a fire inside of me that I couldn't ignore, but I wouldn't call it my aha moment. What did happen at this time are two really interesting things. The first thing was I was told to read two books, Think and Grow Rich and The Strangest Secret. Now, most of you are probably familiar with these books, and you understand that they're a lot about creating your own destiny, planting a seed to make something amazing happen. Frankly, I was skeptical. I had never really seen this world, and I didn't really understand how this might actually work. But I was desperate, and I was willing to try anything. So I read the books, and I started implementing these practices. The second thing that happened to me at this time is that I was introduced to the world of alternative lending. I opened up to this world and stepped into something that I never even knew existed. Now, I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. From the time I was a little kid, selling blueberries and lemonade on a stand on the side of the road to the tourists that visited my hometown. And influenced by the friends and family that I had seen build successful businesses, and armed with the words of Earl Nightingale that success is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal, I stepped into this world of alternative business lending. I quit my job with a guaranteed salary and full benefits, and I started my own alternative lending business. Now, this was interesting too, because I quickly realized that these alternative lenders had a really bad reputation, and honestly, for good reason. The people I was finding online and the people I was interacting with, they were essentially loan sharks. They offered only high rate interest loans because those were the things that they could make the most commission on. They used hard sell sales tactics. They pushed business owners into loans that weren't a good fit for them, and frankly, never really explained to an owner what they were getting themselves into. I wasn't willing to settle for this type of lending either. And again, I knew there was something better out there. The more that I discovered this world of alternative lending, and the more that I got to understand what resources were out there, I realized that a platform connecting the business owners to great lenders really didn't exist. But I didn't let that stop me. Instead, I decided I was going to build this. And that stoked the fire inside of me to create something that I knew would actually be able to help these business owners. And it set the wheels of destiny in motion. I had found my worthy ideal, as Earl Nightingale had put it. I just needed to figure out how to make it a reality. I spent the next couple years of my life understanding businesses and the pain points and headaches that they were going through, and I spent equally as much time seeking out the alternative lenders that would do business the right way. And I began to build a network, a huge network that was ever expanding of these alternative lenders. And with the help of an amazing team who understood my vision and believed in what we were creating, we were able to build this network, dial in our processes, create a proprietary technology that would not only pre-qualify these business owners, but would offer them an experience unlike any other. It was efficient, and it was really positive for the end user. So our business started to hit our stride, and it felt great. At this time, I had a very interesting conversation, and this is actually my aha moment. It came about in a really mundane way. I was talking to a woman, telling her about my business, normal conversation. I was telling her where we had been, how we got there, where we were going, and she made a comment to me that I'll never forget. She looked at me and said, "Wow, you might be the most serendipitous person I've ever met." I took it as a compliment. I smiled and nodded in agreement and continued on our conversation. But later that day, I reflected back and wondered why I had taken that comment so positively. The very definition of the word serendipity implied that I was where I was out of mere happenstance, out of luck. Believe me, I am not serendipitous, and I am certainly not lucky. I saw a problem, and I knew there was a solution, and I was not going to rest until I found my success. Napoleon Hill, in his book Think and Grow Rich, says that God throws himself on the side of someone who knows exactly what they want and is determined to get it. I knew what I wanted. I was determined to get it. And I was not going to rest until I found a way to help these business owners realize my worthy ideal and realize my success. Now, I know a lot of you out here have a vision. You have something that you're looking for, you're striving. And it can be overwhelming, and it can be frustrating. And trust me, the moments that I've had that I felt the world was coming to a standstill and crumbling around me were moments that I wanted to give up, and there were plenty of them. But I held fast in my resolve not to let that win. I knew there was a solution, and I was going to find it, and I was going to do it by helping other people. Now, if the folks in the audience can take anything from this aha moment of mine, it would be this. Be your own shining star in a sky of darkness. Have a purpose and a passion. Do the right things for the right reasons. You have the ability to do something epic. If you see a problem, find a solution, and do it before somebody else does. Make your own luck, create your own destiny, and manufacture your own serendipity.